to be a leader, we have to be submitted
Mm-hmm.
and we have to be a servant. It can't be by title
Mm.
or status. Leadership requires servanthood.
Mm.
It can't be status or title, Apostle.
So only authority given by the Lord is true. Only He can
Exactly.
give out true leadership title.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Authority of
Yes.
leadership.
Yes.
Okay.
So, what, in order to be a leader, you have to realize that your character
Mm-hmm.
has to stand over your title.
Mm.
It can't be title first and then character.
Mm-hmm.
You could have a leadership position and be all messed up because you're so caught up in the title. Look at me. Look at who I am. Look what I've
Mm.
achieved. Look what I've become. That character is all messed up. There's no submission, there's no humility in it, there's no servanthood in it.
Mm. All for
We,
self.
yeah, it's all about self. Look at me,
Mm.
me, I.
Mm.
All about self.
Season 1, episode 10. We
Mm.
made it to double digits. Uncovered. 16-9. Myself, Reverend Bernard, and Dr. Donna. How you doing today?
All right, how are you?
I'm doing well. We're coming
Good.
at you from Oak Lane Studios. We got our
Yes.
producer here, Joey, with us in the studio. We are back. Today's episode is one of our favorite topics: leadership, spiritual
Mm.
leadership.
Yeah.
This is what Tree of Life is all about:
Yes.
cultivating leaders, birthing
Yes.
out leaders,
Yes.
building up leaders.
Yes.
Um, Joey, if you could put leadership, the definition of leadership on the screen, what comes to mind, Dr. Donna, when you hear the word leadership?
Oh, authority,
Mm-hmm.
strategy,
Mm-hmm.
love,
Mm.
love, and then love again.
Mm.
Stewardship,
Mm.
uh, governance,
Mm.
leadership, commissioning, launching.
Mm.
Liberating.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, that's good. All very good characteristics
Amen.
of a leader. I think the one thing that comes to mind, and this is what I really learned, was sacrifice.
Sacrifice. Yeah,
Sacrifice.
how'd I
That's
miss
that.
that?
That's
Yeah.
that's the one. Like I was going to do something. Leaders eat last, buddy. Like, oh, it ain't gonna be no food. But yeah,
Yeah,
sacrifice. Sacrifice is one of those.
sacrifice.
Whoo,
Yeah.
whoo. That's when you know you're a leader. All right, thank you. Joey's got the definition up. Leadership is the ability to influence, motivate, and enable others to contribute towards shared organizational goals, which would be advancing the kingdom. Key qualities include integrity, empathy, decisiveness, and clear communication. Core styles range from transformational and servant leadership to transactional and bureaucratic approaches, with development focusing on self awareness, mentoring, and continuous learning. Continuous learning.
Continuous.
Continuous learning.
Wow.
That part is powerful. So, uh, leadership.
Mm-hmm.
What type of responsibility or authority comes with leadership?
Responsibility or authority. But if, as a leader, now, of course, I'm coming from the perspective that I sit in leadership with God as my oversight.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm talking about leadership from that area. So for me, it would mean my first responsibility would be submission to God.
Okay. Oh, First responsibility.
That's my first responsibility,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because I believe that leaders must be led before they can lead.
Why and why is that?
Because spiritual, the authority we get comes from God,
Mm-hmm.
and that has to come from obedience.
Mm-hmm. Wow,
It
powerful.
has to come from obedience, right?
Mm-hmm.
Proverbs 3, 5, and 6,
Mm-hmm.
right? Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean
Lean not
not
on
to your
your
own
own understanding.
understanding.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And what's the other part of that?
Oh, it's more. Oh my.
Yeah.
Oh, in all your ways acknowledge him.
Come
Yeah,
on,
there
come
you
on,
go. Look at
come on.
that. Yeah.
And he will do what? And he shall direct your path.
He shall direct your path. Man, it's all that.
Yeah. Most people only be
He
saying
only
the
get
first part,
you.
3 and 5, but it's
You
5
told me that too.
versions.
Back in Tree of Life, you said, "All right, the people only come with part A, part B, C,
Let's get
D,
all of
get the whole thing."
it. So I think the first part, responsibility, is submission to God.
Mm,
Before I can tell anybody to do anything, I better be submitted to the Father.
that's powerful.
That's the first thing. Then I have to be a servant.
Mm, mm. Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, on top of if I'm going to be a leader, I better have a servant heart. Was it Jesus who said, whoever wants to be great among you
Mm.
must be a
Must be the
servant?
least. Was it?
Must
Yeah. Must be. Yeah. Must become a servant first.
servant, right, right. Didn't Jesus say that? I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because to be a leader, we have to be submitted
Mm-hmm.
and we have to be a servant. It can't be by title
Mm.
or status. Leadership requires servanthood.
Mm.
It can't be status or title, apostle.
So only authority given by the Lord is true. Only He can
Exactly.
give out true leadership title.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Authority of
Yes.
leadership.
Yes.
Okay.
So what in order to be a leader, you have to realize that your character
Mm-hmm.
has to stand over your title.
Mm.
It can't be title first and then character.
Mm-hmm.
You could have a leadership position and be all messed up because you're so caught up in the title. Look at me. Look at who I am. Look what I've
Mm.
achieved. Look what I've become. That character is all messed up. There's no submission, there's no humility in it, there's no servanthood in it.
Mm. All for
We,
self.
yeah, it's all about self. Look at me,
Mm.
me, I.
Mm.
All about self.
Okay.
Mhm.
It's funny when you say that because that's what Christ did. Christ came
Yes,
down, and before he started his ministry, he was led into the wilderness by the
yes,
Holy Spirit, and he fasted for 40 days and 40
exactly,
nights and all that good stuff. And
exactly,
he got
exactly.
all that authority from heaven. Heaven
From
said, "I'm gonna give you this
heaven.
spirit without
Come on
measure,
now.
because you gave me all of you. So I'm gonna give you all
Yes,
of this spirit without measure." He
yes.
said, "Really? Yep. Go out there and get out. Now you got to walk it out and do
Come on
what
now.
I've called you to do." But yes, that
Yes.
is
And that's important, but character is what will show the fruits. And we
yes,
know each other by our fruits.
yes.
Our leadership can only be authenticated by the fruit we show.
Mm, that's
You
powerful.
shouldn't be following me if I'm only dropping sour grapes.
Our leadership can only be authenticated by the fruit.
By the fruit that we sow that you're able to eat.
Mm,
If everything you eat from me makes you sick, you should be questioning,
mm,
why are you eating from my tree? Why are you sitting here being fed by me if everything makes you sick? You should be getting integrity, fruitfulness, multiplication, humility, love, and these should be non-negotiables. These should be non-negotiables. I might fall once or twice, but if I keep falling in the same sin, you need to back up and say, wait a minute, I love you, I'm praying you through, but I don't know if I can follow you anymore because you determined to have a lifestyle of sin.
mm.
Now, when you get up and you no longer have that lifestyle, then I can come back and follow you again.
Right.
But up to that point, why are you still following me?
Mm.
Because eventually you're going to fall into sin with
I'm about to
me.
say you can fall right there with them.
You're
Yeah.
like, well, she keep doing, must be something to it.
Blind leading the blind.
Yes, you know what I'm saying? So I think that's all part of how we begin the important things of leadership.
Mm.
That's why everybody's not meant to be a leader at the time they think they're supposed to be a leader.
Man, that's gonna be an uncut. That's gonna be
Okay.
an uncut show one day.
Leaders.
Right, right,
It
right.
just isn't time to sit
It's just not
sit
time.
on the throne.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
get out of that seat because you're not able to handle it yet.
yeah. I've had that happen.
That's all I
Unfortunately,
mean.
unfortunately, I've had that happen. It's oh, whew, it's a little. I don't want to say embarrassing, but it's a wake up call.
And it should be. And I used to tell people, well, don't you want to check yourself before God checks you?
Right, right,
Pay attention that you don't fail
right, right.
or that you're not ready for this. Stop wanting what you have not prepared yourself for yet.
Mm,
What God has not prepared you, what He's trying to prepare you for.
mm.
Wait your time.
I've seen that happen a lot, especially in church. People get put out there early. They have a gift or they have something that's
Mm-hmm.
working early, and they're like, okay, we're
Mm-hmm.
gonna work this and keep going. Next thing you know, you got burnout, you got this, you got that. The spirit has left them, and then they just
Because they're not ready.
yeah,
And we as leaders, no, really, we as leaders, we have to be so careful not to pull people before their time. One of the gifts God gives us, and I believe it because He's given it to me, and I'm a leader, so I believe leaders have this gift to recognize people's gifts.
yes, yes,
So you can see that someone is an apostle, but it may not be time to call them one.
no,
You
no,
understand what I'm saying?
right,
You can see that someone is called to carry the mantle of a prophet, but it may not be time to call them a prophet. You might say, "Come on and use that gift," but you don't want to call them a prophet until God says it's time for them, because it can mess with somebody's head.
oh yeah, yeah. I've seen people tear up the kingdom. I mean, we see that with
Yes,
David. David was anointed, but it was what 13, 15 years
yes,
before he actually sat on the throne, and people recognized him as king.
mm-hmm.
And it's like,
Yes,
oh, you're gonna have to cultivate this
yes,
relationship, this understanding, this throne,
yes,
all of this stuff, because it's coming with a lot, buddy.
mm-hmm,
This is coming with a lot. It's a lot of responsibility. You're gonna
mm-hmm,
be leading these people.
mm-hmm.
You can't be called, can't be putting Uriah up there next to the wall too many times. You get away with that one time, but you do
Don't
that
get to
again.
do it
That's
again.
yeah, that's probably gonna be it. Probably gonna be it. Okay, so some questions. This should be good. What are some real life examples of times when you were a good leader?
There are a few that go through my mind that I would say I think I handled well.
Hmm.
Um,
I'll give you one because I remember this. This stood out.
okay.
This stood out to me. This and it's gonna seem small, America. I'm talking to America. It's gonna seem small. For me, this was huge because this is just who I am. It was back in 2023. It was my first time coming to meet you here in Philly. Not my first time meeting you, but meeting you here in Philly. It was my first weekend here. I was in Delaware, but I come up and we had gone to a diner. And I think it was four of us. I think it
Oh,
was
I
four
forget
of us,
that.
and we went to a diner, and I'm starving. So I ordered. What did I order? Burger or something? No, I think I ordered breakfast. Yeah, I'm starving. And Dr. Donna orders this. I think it was a sandwich or something, and a
Mhm.
soup. And she's got it all like fixed up and everything. And she's like, "Oh, we gotta pray." So she starts praying, and this beautiful prayer, and I'm just excited because I'm like, I know ain't nothing in my food gonna hurt me now. I'm gonna be all right. This is gonna be nourishment for my body. And as when you're done praying, we all say, we come in agreement with the prayer. And the two young ladies next to us said,
Forgot about
"We
that.
love that prayer." And I'm looking at them like, "Oh, okay, yes, all right." So I want to get ready to eat my food, and and I think you said had some response, God bless you or something like that, and they kept talking.
Mhm.
Anyway, I'm like, okay, the syrup and the butter, the combination is finally married together, moving around on the pancakes. I'm about to eat this. Because I just when I'm hungry, and start eating my food, And then I look over because I hear some noise. And one of them is like crying. I'm like, oh my God, what is going on? One of the young ladies at the table next to us is crying
Yeah.
and just spoke to us. Dr. Donna has her sandwich up and is getting ready to eat it and puts it down and say, I gotta go over there. I was like, oh. And then she put her sandwich down and covered it up and went over there and started evangelizing and ministering to the young lady. And so that was powerful for me because I would have taken a bite. I would at least have taken a bite of myself. Because my thought is, it's warm, the ingredients are there. You're never going to get that first initial bite or that first time over again. So at least I was like, she at least going to bite and go over there or take it over there. You didn't even, you left and I was like, that to me, I was just like, whoa. I kept eating my food. And I didn't go over there. I kept eating my food. We kept an eye on you to make sure you were okay. We're like, all right, But they really needed an ambassador of Christ at that moment.
Yeah.
And it needed to be more than just we're gonna talk across the aisle.
Yeah.
We need somebody over here to embrace. Because I don't remember what happened, but I remember it got real emotional real quick. And I was like, whoa. But I was hungry. But that and I know from that day, because I think it happened with somebody approaching me, and I was like, I can't bite my food. I gotta go help them.
Gotta go help them.
As that amazed me because I know how much I didn't know back then, but I know now how much of a foodie you are. That's not a small thing.
Yeah.
That's a big thing.
Yeah.
So when that happened, I was like, whoa. And it was 4 of us, 5 of us. It was 5 of us. I forgot it was 5 of us.
Yeah.
But you were the only one that got up and went over there, and the only one that denied yourself the food. Because we all ate. We all ate. We threw a napkin on and said, she'll be back. But yeah, that for me, and I don't think I've ever told you that, but for me, that was huge.
No, it's the first time I'm hearing
That
that.
was
I'm
huge.
surprised you remember.
Oh yeah, because it had a lasting impact because it gave me order, decency, order, understanding, sacrifice. I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, I ain't never but I knew, but the way you handled it was a leader. And I knew at that point, this is somebody I need to follow. Because that's a move and action I don't know if I've ever seen in the kingdom. That was powerful. Because I think they were done eating or something like that over there. So they didn't worry about their food. So yeah, that was powerful. So yeah. So that was mine. So were you able to come up with
I was thinking totally different when you said that
oh yeah,
question.
it's gonna be different.
It's gonna look different from my viewpoint. I was thinking of things like, when my members come to me and somebody's bothering them and it's like sheep in the field and I got to get out there and kill the wolf. You know what I'm saying? Chase the bear. Things like that. It's what I was literally thinking, those types of scenarios that have come up as a leader, you know. When people literally come to you and it's like, I don't know how to handle this particular situation. And to be honest, I don't either, but I know that if I pray like Daniel prayed, he'll give me an answer.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, well, let me pray. And I'll listen immediately. And sometimes God say you can get right back to him. Sometimes he'll say give him 3 days. But I boldly will have to say that as a leader, like give me 3 days and I'll have an answer. Whatever the Spirit is telling me, as a leader, I can't back down from that because I've taken on the responsibility to be an overseer, to be a shepherd, to be whatever, however you want to refer to me, but that's what we do. So as a leader, and love says, don't leave them like that. If you see an open wound, help them with it. Don't leave them so that all they're doing is they're just oozing out, because what's going to happen anyhow is they're going to ooze out on everybody.
Yeah.
So now it's not just them. Now you got 10 other people coming.
Yep. Yeah, I was going to say, yep. Yeah.
Reason to help them,
right,
because you don't want to deal with 10 other people. Right. That's not what I'm saying.
They need help anyway.
But I'm saying, as a leader, these are the things we have to do, and those are the things that stand out to me as a leader that I get excited about, but I also realize it's good things to be able to help.
Yeah, yeah.
To be able to help. To know that you don't have that answer, but God does. And to be confident enough to say, I'll get an answer for you.
Yeah.
If God has one, he will give it to us. if he wants you to know it, because we know he has the answer.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
But if he wants you, if this is the time for you to know it, we will get the answer.
Yeah.
You know, as a leader, I think that's so important in the front of what we do, not to leave anybody feeling hopeless,
Mm.
feeling lost.
Open wounds. Yep.
Yes,
Close
don't
up
leave
them
them with
wounds.
those
Sew them
open
up.
wounds oozing. I
Yep.
think
Sew
that's
them
some of
up.
the greatest things we can do as a leader is to help them clean out the wound.
Mm. Wow. Powerful. Powerful. Okay. I'll give one. I'll give one of mine. This
Okay.
is this is
Okay.
this is one time I remember in particular. It was a men's call. This is maybe 3 4 years ago. It was a men's only call, man, and we had this powerful prophet on, and we just had we had this great night of fellowship. Like
Okay.
sometimes you can just tell, like, wow, that was amazing. Like I'm excited. And one gentleman, he he got on camera and he said he didn't say anything towards anybody, but you could tell his vernacular, his verbal, his language was that of somebody who had lost hope.
Oh,
And it
okay.
immediately like it scared me because when everybody's having a good time and then you hear about somebody doing something crazy, like, well, what well, how did I miss Johnny? I
Hmm.
didn't see it, and it scared me. And I remember I think it was that night. I set up a time to go see him, like one on one, face to face, because that's how it concerned me, face to face. Like, hey, are you okay? And I found out everything was fine. Later on, everything was fine. It was cool, but and it gave us a chance to fellowship. We went out to eat and everything like that. But I remember one gentleman saying, "Man, that was commendable what you did. Like
Okay.
you almost like stopped the service, left the 99 to go get the one. Like, hey,
Yeah.
are you all
Yeah.
right? Because this is." And I thank God that I reacted or responded in the correct way. Because so many times we could miss that. We could just like, oh no, he tripping and he going through, But it was like, nah, something is not right. And it, you can see my face. I picked up on it quick, like, oh no,
Okay.
something ain't right. So so that was, that was one of the ones I got right.
Well,
Because
I can give you one for you.
hmm
Just recently, we had to respond to something, and you and I had a conversation about how the situation made us feel.
right.
And we were just going back and forth talking about it.
hmm
Then, when it was a time to write a response, it was so loving, so true,
hmm
yet so kind. And I was thinking, God, Ernest has really, really grown into like a very compassionate leader who expressed what he needed to express, but you did it in a way where no one would be offended.
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah.
beautiful leadership.
Amen. That
Because
that
a lot of leaders get mad and they take their feelings out in the text
yeah,
responses
yeah,
or from the pulpit
yeah.
or whatever.
Read this scripture while you
Right.
at it.
It's like, and then while you had it here, let me give you like it cleans it up. But I read the text and I read the response and I was like, Lord, this is so beautiful because I could feel God's love in it.
Mm,
Like this is okay and this is whatever, whatever. And I was like, okay.
wow. Yeah.
Yep. And that just happened not too long ago. And I remember thinking, wow, God,
I
okay.
attribute that to the Lord, the work the Lord has done recent. It's like I'm seeing him through different lenses or something. There is a
Amen.
level of compassion that I just had never tapped into. I never had it. And
Hmm.
I probably never even accepted it for myself. But it's like it's there. And he's like, oh no, this is here. This is how I would have responded. That's what he does. This is how I would have said it, Ernest. You could have said it like this. You could. And I'm like, oh yeah, you're right.
Right,
I
right.
did have that choice. So I'm learning now, and it's freeing because
Yeah,
it's not nothing. I don't have no angst. Like you could send a response and it'd be nice, but you still have like angst. But no, like I
yeah.
really have aligned with how the Lord will respond, and I'm responding. He's responding through me, and boom, it's gone. And I'm just like, oh, okay, cool. Hey,
Amen.
hey.
That's good.
So it's beautiful. God has done. He's done the work. The last I don't know 3 months, 2 months. I'm like, oh Lord, because you think you're at a point. You're like, okay, I could get better, but you don't think you could get like exponentially better
Yeah,
that quick, like
yeah,
almost night and day from last week. It is scary.
yeah,
It is scary. All right,
yeah.
examples of times we may not have been the best leader.
Oh,
I'll go first.
please do.
I'll go first. This was almost embarrassing. I was trying to think of it. This is one to come off the top of my head. I was a varsity soccer coach at my high school, and I was assistant coach. My father was head coach, and we were at a game, and it was hostile, and a scuffle had broke out or potentially broke out on the field, and they had their players look like I think it looked like their players had come off the bench. I looked at our players. I said, "What are y'all doing? Y'all need to get out there." They were going off the bench. My dad said, where y'all going?" Sent them back to the bench. And he was looking at me. I was like, "Oh, my bad." He looked at me like, "Boy, you crazy?" And I'm like, "Well, we come from a different era, Dad. You know, if it's a fight, we go out there." But
Ernest,
no, I wasn't. Cause I told him, I said, "I don't do, you know, I'm past that age." But you know, if you see your teammate or something, to help out. Oh. But I knew something was wrong. The fact that I had to tell them that, usually you have to hold kids back. But you know, you seeing somebody, basically take your lunch money, you're not doing nothing. But anyway, that was a man, that was one, and there was a one time, and I'm not going to get into the details. But this and the Lord, he sends gentle reminders now. Not a lot, but he does remind me of this. There was a young lady. I believe I was supposed to mentor her. Of course, I dated her.
instead of mentoring her.
And
Okay.
and it was almost like the Lord was like, that would have been that Ernest, that would have been one of your top 3 disciples ever. But you kind of squandered it now. But it's okay, Ernest, because you'll be okay. And the sad part was I didn't see it until years later. He was telling me like, "Yeah, you don't realize she was listening and to everything you were saying. She was following you. She'd been following you for a long time, and unfortunately,
Okay.
squandered that." But anyway, so those are 2 I can come up with off the top of my head. Were you able to
Oh, yeah,
think of
there's a
any?
few that I realized I failed at. One had to do with running a church.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah, I was a pastor of a church. It was a flourishing church. And then I ran into some issues with people that were in leadership with me in the church.
Yeah.
And I kind of pushed back in that I would say to the person who would come to me that she was having a problem with another one of the leaders.
Mhm.
One of my responses was, "Well, you should talk to them.
Mm.
You should go to the person first." I never really offered until I think it was too late. Do you want me to get involved?
Mm. You
Okay.
left it between.
I left it between them to try to
Okay.
work it out. Even though I could see there was stuff going on there.
Right.
I could see it. And um so anyhow, the church wound up splitting.
Oh. Oh.
Oh, it
Over
got
over
really
that?
bad. Oh, it got really bad. A
Oh
lot
yeah.
happened behind the scenes. I mean, a lot happened behind the scenes.
Mm.
And the church wound up splitting.
Mm.
Yeah. And I mean, I did get involved, but I think by the time I got involved, it was too late. And by then, some people probably had lost respect for me as a leader
Yeah.
because they
Yeah.
feel like I should have stepped in sooner.
Yeah.
And I was learning my way, and I was thinking that they would work it out because I
Right.
knew both of these leaders and they're both strong. And I'm like, "Oh, they can work this out."
Right.
But I was wrong. I should
Okay.
have gotten involved, wound up losing connections with a few people.
Mm.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it had a lot of repercussions, a lot like that David thing.
Yeah.
If you don't deal with something, look what
It
happens.
gets
It just continues to fester and fester and fester. So when someone in the ministry comes to me with something now, I jump on it. I'm like, "Oh
Mhm.
no, I learned from that lesson."
That makes sense.
Meaning that I address it immediately. Even if I'm not really needed, I'll let people know I'm here and I'm watching.
Mm.
Okay, and if you need me, don't hesitate to call me.
That's good. That's good to
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, I had to learn from that the hard way.
That's good to know.
Hmm.
Hmm. Interesting. So yeah, there you have it, folks. The ups and downs of leadership. And it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing to be called into, and it's a beautiful thing to walk it out. Just you have to really take your time. You have to really take your time. And I think what Dr. Donna said, know your season when you're ready to be placed in that position. You don't want to just go to that position, but you want the Lord to place you there.
Absolutely.
Biblical examples of
Mm-hmm.
good leadership. It could be a person, could be a situation, it could be yeah, all of that stuff. Um, I know for me, mine was David when he
Okay.
the census when he did this and he wasn't supposed to, and then the Lord told him there's going to be a punishment for this, and he said he gave him three options, and one of the options was a direct punishment from the Lord, and the other one was like an enemy come in and take over and all that good stuff. And David was like, "No, I don't want to fall into the hands of man.
Mm.
I want the punishment to come directly from the Lord." I had never heard anything like that. Where the
Mm-hmm.
churches I come from, they didn't talk about that type of stuff because I was like, I was reading it, like, oh, this man's insane. The Lord will kill you, and he was like, no, 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 no. I did what I did was wrong. What I did was disobedience. But God's grace is sufficient. His mercy is sufficient. But
Mm.
man will just go buck wow. And I was like, oh yeah, he right. Man to get
Yeah.
angry, take it
Yeah.
personal. You got jealousy, you got all these
Yeah.
things that man will do that David knew God wouldn't do. And I marveled at that. Because for me, a leader's taking responsibility. Like I didn't do the right thing, and I'm going to stand here now, and I'm going to take what the Lord is going to dish out, and I'm going to take it this way.
Mm.
That was that. Yeah, that was powerful.
Yeah.
I thought that was a horrible decision until it happened, and you saw the way it works. I was like, oh, this is beautiful. This is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Embracing this. So yeah. So that's one of my examples.
Okay. An example for me would be in the book of Acts, the early church.
Okay.
How that apostolic unity just
Mm,
flowed. How they came together and they just worked like God told them they were supposed to work as one. You could see the power of the Holy Spirit just flowing,
mhm,
and all the work He gave them to do, how they were bold, how they addressed each other when they needed to. They weren't afraid to address each other and say, that's not what we were taught. They didn't let incorrect doctrine go forth. I mean, when I read the book of Acts, I just get so excited, to see how unity is supposed to look.
yeah. It's a beautiful sign.
They shared their leadership, they shared the accountability. That's what we're supposed to look like here on earth.
Yeah.
That's what we're supposed to look like.
Yeah.
We're supposed to run churches like the book of Acts. Just like the God left us a model for a reason. How we have veered so far in so many ways. He left us a model for a reason. So I think that's one of the best things for me, in the Bible that I can see.
Mm.
Yeah.
Another one, Paul rebuking Peter.
Yeah. In the
That was
book of Acts.
that was yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
That was powerful.
Yeah.
Peter, I don't want to say he kind of was like selling out, but he wanted to be accepted. He kind of wanted to, be with the in crowd, even though he knew. I could tell by the way you read it, you knew Peter knew he was wrong,
Yeah.
but he just like, well, I'm gonna go over here anyway because I just want, I've been separated. I want to be included. And Paul was like,
Yeah.
"Oh no, I got to go out here to these Gentiles. You can't be spreading this. You're gonna tear them up. They're not ready for this. So yeah,
Yeah.
we got to get this
Yeah.
right." So that was another example. And last one, David and his retreat. I always thought that was beautiful. His
Mm-hmm.
retreat from Saul. His retreat from I've been anointed. I know I'm supposed to be on the throne, but obviously, if I stay here, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna head out.
Yeah.
Head out to the caves.
Yeah.
And led and didn't lead a rebellion,
Right.
but still was able to lead from the caves.
He accepted what God allowed.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what we have to practice.
Exactly.
understanding that God knew.
Right.
He saw all this was coming,
Yeah.
you know. So how does God want us to handle it? Through love.
Mm.
Not mealy mouse love,
Right.
but love.
Love.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
now, oh, did you have any more?
No. Mm-mm.
Okay. Bad or not so good examples of leadership in the Bible.
Mm.
Saul
Mm. Yeah, I was gonna say.
calling the people to a
Yeah.
fast during
Yeah.
at the time of war.
Yeah. Saul, come on now.
Calling people to a fast.
Yes.
When I read that, I was like, "Oh, he crazy." But I mean, it already said he had a tormenting spirit,
Come
so
on
we should have
now.
known that.
Come
But
on
yeah, I
now.
said, "Oh yeah, homeboy, a little touch. That's crazy."
Yeah.
So yeah, not smart at all.
Yeah. And you know what stood out to me when I was researching? I was like, that's right. I almost forgot about the golden calf with Aaron.
Yeah.
Oh, you knew why Moses was up in the mountain with God. Okay. Okay. But it said he bowed down to pressure. Okay. He compromised holiness for peace. He started idolatry in God's camp.
Yeah.
Okay. And what happened? They had delayed destiny because of that.
Mm.
Delayed destiny because of that. That's what bad leadership will do.
Yeah.
Because God's going to deal with the just and the unjust alike. You can't get
Mm.
away with anything. You can't get away with anything.
Yeah. Um, easy. Adam.
Oh, oh, Adam.
Adam.
Oh, yeah,
Adam.
Adam.
Standing by, the
Yeah,
Bible said, people, "Oh, where was Adam?" The Bible says he was right there. He was right there while his wife was talking to the enemy, being lured, and then he watched it and went and partook himself, and then blamed her.
yeah,
But yeah, that was yeah, textbook. That should have
yeah,
been handled different. That really should have been handled different.
yeah.
But yeah,
Mm.
tough one.
Hmm.
Um, favorite biblical leader.
Deborah.
Okay,
Oh, for me, it's Deborah.
okay.
Deborah was mighty. I took some notes on her. I was hoping you'd ask me that question.
Mm-hmm.
I put some notes down on Deborah. I want to read this to you. I was so excited because Deborah, and she's always been one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, all right, give me some information on Deborah to really. And I relate to this because she was a prophetic, judicial, apostolic style leader.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a rare combination that made her one of the most complete spiritual leaders in scripture.
Prophetic, judicial,
Yes.
apostolic style.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay. And we find Deborah in Judges chapter 4 and 5.
Mm-hmm.
Chapter 4 and 5. And Deborah was a figurehead as like a functional female authoritative leader over Israel,
Mm.
over the whole
For the whole
nation.
nation.
Like it wasn't no joke, you know. And some of the notes I have says she was a prophetess. She heard God clearly.
Mm.
Okay. She operated first as a prophet. She went forth declaring what God said. Okay. And I'm going to read this because it was so good what I
Okay.
dug up.
All right.
It says her leadership trait was revelation before action. She did not guess, assume, or strategize apart from God. She spoke heaven's verdict into earthly situations. She was also a judge. She carried authority and wisdom. She held court under the palm of Deborah, and the people came to her for judgment. Judges 4 and 5. Her leadership trait was that she was moral and spiritual. She had moral and spiritual authority, and her authority was recognized, not demanded. And this is governance through wisdom, not force.
Mm.
She was an apostolic forerunner. She mobilized others. Deborah did not fight the battle herself, but she commissioned Barak. She gave strategy and she defined timing. So her leadership trait was that she sinned, she aligned, and she activated. She understood that leadership is not doing everything, it's releasing others into obedience. She was a courageous truth teller. She confronted hesitation. When Barak was hesitated, Deborah did not shrink back or flatter him. She said, I will go with you, but the honor will not be yours. Her leadership trait was accountability without insecurity. She was strong enough to lead men without competing with them and honest enough to name the consequences.
Mm.
She was a worshiper, a strategist. She led through praise. Judges 5 is Deborah's victory song, a prophetic worship declaration recounting God's triumph.
Mm.
And that leadership trait was that she has intercession and proclamation. She understood that worship seals victory and teaches the next generation what God has done.
Oh,
Deborah,
she understood that through song.
what made her unique is that she led without a king. She led in a time of national compromise. She led as a woman without apology or insecurity. She led in partnership, not isolation. And she led from obedience, not ambition. See, that's me. I'm just
Mm.
loving it. I don't know if I hit it all, but I want to hit it all.
Mm.
Okay, I mean, when I read this, I said, no wonder, because as soon as you talked to me about that, I prayed and the Holy Spirit. I said, God, who is it? He said, Deborah. He gave it to me. He said, read up there. He said, Deborah. That's your leadership authority. That's who you emulate from the Bible. Read about
Mm.
Deborah, daughter. Deborah. And I was like, oh, and I've always loved Deborah. Just the fact that she led that army when the man wouldn't do it.
Right.
That always encouraged me. So, Deborah, in one sentence, here it is. Deborah was a heaven aligned leader who governed by revelation, judged with wisdom, mobilized others into obedience, and secured victory through prophetic authority and worship.
Mm. You said it one more time.
Sure. Deborah was a heaven aligned leader who governed by revelation, judged with wisdom, mobilized others into obedience, and secured victory through prophetic authority and worship. So, what Deborah did was she restored God's order when times were chaotic.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It was wild in Judges. Judge. I don't know what. I don't even,
It was so much going on.
yeah. I was. I ain't
She
even go down
called
the road.
others up, but she didn't call them out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So she didn't put them on blast, but
Mm.
she dealt with whatever needed to be dealt with.
Mm.
Why? And to do that, she blended authority with humility.
Mm.
She blended those two. She operated in a clarity and in courage and with a covenantal understanding. It was so beautiful. So, what I learned when I was studying Deborah was that when leaders hear God clearly and act boldly, heaven moves nations.
Mm. Mm.
Heaven will move nations when we hear God and act boldly on what we hear. It speaks to some things that God's been saying.
Mm.
Move when you hear it. Do it when I say it. You know my voice. Act boldly.
Powerful.
Yeah.
Powerful. I don't think I've ever heard Deborah and her leadership style articulated the way you just did. That's powerful.
What
Uh,
about you?
I have a plethora.
Okay.
If I just had to pick one, I think just based off today and how I'm feeling, I think I would go King David.
Okay.
Uh, some days I would go Moses. Some days I would go Joseph. I really like Daniel. I like the fact that the Bible says Daniel was it 10 times better, 10 times better than his counterparts and stuff like that. I mean that's a part. That's it.
That's
For
beautiful.
somebody to be 10 times better than you, I mean that's saying a lot. But David, known as a man, heart for God, courage. The couple I'm gonna name off a couple: heart for God, courage, humility, patience, accountability, resilience, strategic thinking, loyalty, ability to inspire, worshipful spirit. All of those things. And then
Mm.
if David is called a man after God's own heart, of course, according to 1 Samuel 13 and 14. As a young shepherd, David faced Goliath when others were afraid. Even after being anointed king, David continued to serve King Saul faithfully. He
Okay.
refused to kill Saul when he had the chance, honoring God's timing, letting you know that true leaders don't rush power, they respect process and authority. David is also he was patient. David waited many years between being anointed king and actually becoming king. He trusted God's timing instead of forcing outcomes. Leadership requires endurance and the ability to wait wisely. Accountability. Now this is big. When confronted by the prophet Nathan about his sin with Bathsheba, David repented sincerely. He accepted correction instead of making excuses. Strong leaders admit mistakes and
Mm-hmm.
take responsibility. And now I'll do one more. His ability to inspire. His faith and passion motivated an entire nation. Even his mighty men were willing to risk their lives because of their belief in him. Um, Influence grows when people believe in the leader's mission.
Mm-hmm.
So it's powerful.
So true.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
That's so true.
my man David, who had a chance of seeing his movie.
Yeah, that was a good movie. Mm-hmm.
Had a chance to see this movie. It was really good. Really good
Mm-hmm.
movie. So let me see. I'll throw it to our producer Joey. See if he has any questions about leadership.
Yeah, I might have a few questions.
Mhm.
Because my take on leadership is when people start with, in order to be a good leader, you have to be a good follower.
Mm,
Um, I never consider myself a good follower.
mm.
I consider myself to be obedient at times. So being being obedient would signify a good follower. But because I knew my heart behind my obedience, I didn't view me as a good follower. So if you was to say, or my question would be, as a someone who doesn't see himself as a good follower, well, I guess it would be. I'm thinking of two different questions now that I'll rephrase it
Take your
that way.
time.
But a person who doesn't see himself as a good, well, I'll just ask both questions so you guys can decipher who is the expert at that moment. So question one would be, if I see myself, if I don't see myself as a good follower, does that mean I can't be a good leader? That's question one. And then question two would be, because I see myself as a bad or not a good follower, should I start to follow before I lead? Like, what is the recommendation as someone who is, and this is my perspective on myself, not being classifying as a good follower? Do you suggest that that person begin to follow, or would you say that person wouldn't be a good leader if he never learns to follow?
What's question three? I'll take three,
Oh,
Joey.
but I asked this question because that's, I mean, that was more personal for me. All right, so in third three, uh, I don't have any third questions. You're gonna help me, and you're gonna help me right now. What? One was, if because I see myself as not being a good follower, does that mean I wouldn't be a good leader?
No, I can answer that one
Sure.
if you want.
Yeah, yeah.
No, because you don't see it doesn't mean you wouldn't be. No, oftentimes we don't see what we're capable of doing. Most of the time, we kick against the pricks. Because even when God shows us what we're capable of doing, we're like, I'm not doing that. I can't do that. I don't know how to do that. So, absolutely not. No, all you have to do is trust God and believe that God knows what's best. Because if we followed what we thought, we wouldn't get a lot of things done, Joey. Okay, that's just the truth of it. So, no, because you think you can't doesn't mean you won't be. No, but your leader's job would be to help transform you so you would begin to think you can. You would be able to see it in incremental steps so that you can see your growth. If you have a good leader, they are multiplying their kind. And so multiplication prayerfully is of the good fruit. So you will slowly begin to see through the practices and the spiritual disciplines that you'll be doing, you'll begin to see that you could become possibly, you see little inklings of it, like, "Oh, I could do that. Maybe I can do this." And they build on top of each other. This is what the spiritual disciplines do. They show you who God is in you so that you can then begin to believe in who he has called you to be. That's why we start with spiritual disciplines. Okay, so absolutely not. The reason you don't see it so you don't think you can doesn't mean you can't. No, not at all. So I'll toss the second question to the apostle,
What's
Reverend
the second
Bernard.
question again, Joy?
Because I don't see myself as a good follower, is it recommended that I learn to follow before I begin to lead?
Because you don't see yourself as a good follower, is it recommended for you to follow before you lead? I would say my first question would be why don't you see yourself as a good follower?
Um, well, I don't see myself as a good follower because when I followed, it was more out of obedience to my parents. Just do what they say. Doesn't matter how you feel. And I haven't been under my parents for over maybe 30 years now. Being an adult, having your own way, and I haven't found anybody that I felt was worth listening to, sitting under. Like, now, I have sat under, ministers
Right.
and listening and received information, but as for someone guiding me to a specific place, you can't tell me nothing. You can give me your opinion, and I would accept that. And then what I do with that is up to me. You would never. So that's kind of how I'm viewing a lot of different people. So I don't know whether, and then that's I feel my flesh coming out, even me describing it, because I'm getting like, if camera people, if people watching, if you can see my face, I'm making a face like, yeah, okay. Dr. Donna, could you replicate the face that I'm making?
And then a whole bunch of
Like, I'm not listening. So really,
some things
so
that's coming out.
but it's like I don't want to call it rebellion,
I
but it's rooted there. I would say this because rebellion means, for me, rebellion would be I'm against
I was about
what
to say
you're
you
doing.
going against.
I'm not
You're
against
not
it. It's
against
just you don't have jurisdiction where I am.
And so the question, oh, it's not for me. This passes.
Right. I mean, you seem like you want to jump in over there. But so that is why I don't see myself as a good follower, because of how I view but it's my how I well, just to answer your question, how I don't think I'm a good follower because of how I view leadership.
10 minutes ministry time, apostle. Come on, you can do this.
Okay, I understand. So it sounds like the relationship between you and human leadership is tainted
Great word.
because the relationship between you and Christ's leadership, I would assume that's not tainted.
No, I'll follow Christ to whatever. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So now, if Christ places a leader, has Christ ever given you a successful leader?
Yeah, my parents, but that was 30 years ago.
Right. But they were successful.
Absolutely.
So has Christ attempted to give you a successful leader
I
since
wouldn't
then?
know.
Okay.
That's not what I was seeking out.
Right.
Now, has he? Probably yes, but I probably missed that at some point.
Right. So that's I think that's where I would start to explore first. Um, would I be would you be a good leader? The oil's gonna trickle down. You only gonna produce what's inside of you.
Mm.
So if you gonna produce somebody who, you tell them to sit down, they sitting down, but in their heart they standing up, then that's what you gonna be leading. And I'm telling you, if you leading people like that, you ain't gonna get far. You ain't gonna get far, and even as a leader, you're gonna have to go through you're gonna have to go through
Hell.
I'm about to say weeping and gnashing weeping and gnashing of the teeth. Weeping and gnashing of the teeth. But what I would do is I would look and see where that breach is in that leadership.
Mm.
And I understand because I'm a man. I'm like I feel you. I'm like that too. I think I told Dr. Don, I was like, yeah, just on a job places. It's like some I'm like Lord, I ain't following him. He crazy. Now it's different if you put somebody there then and he says follow.
Right.
But a lot, yeah, like choosing to follow, like it's not a lot of people I would just choose to follow. It is what it is. But when I'm following, I'm following. So when I'm there, I'm there. Now, I would also say that over the years, he has given me really good leaders. I didn't agree with everything they said, but they were good leaders. And to the best of my ability, I followed until he said, that time is over. So I would, before I would step into any type of leadership position, I would definitely seek the Lord about what's going on with this breach, because if it's been 30 years since you've had a successful leader, then it would say that it's probably not the leader. It's probably, you would have to look at your relationship with leadership. Cause yeah, that would mean coach, basketball coach, all that stuff. So
I got cut mid
okay, all
season
right,
high
all right.
school.
Really?
Yeah, because he wanted me to do something.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like,
buddy, yeah.
okay.
So so I would go and revisit. I would actually go and revisit the parents' leadership, because it sounds like that might be where it is.
Well, see, my parents' leadership was rooted in obey me because of my authority
Right,
over you.
right. You might not
you,
eat.
You didn't have right. You didn't have if there wasn't a choice.
Right.
So it's easy to follow my father
Oh,
because that's what we were kind
you
of
you never learned how to follow them.
right. We were like get
You
in
just
line or
did what you had to do to make it through.
and then the thing like you ever the slaughterhouse where the cattle are being pushed in. I don't I don't think that conveyor belt is moving you regardless. So me just learning and growing because I'm in the conveyor belt. Now I'm not against the conveyor belt. I think the conveyor belt led me to know the Lord. I always had a saying that it was my father's faith which led me to believe, but it's the father's love why I still believe. So you kind of give credit to the conveyor belt.
Absolutely.
And because I'm in this space now, I can be like, oh wow, this is something that's real to me.
Absolutely.
Outside of so now I'm like, I'm here. I met the ultimate leader. Why do I listen to this guy? So it was like, and then I begin to notice the flaw in leadership.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Which kind of and then me never being in an official position of leadership, I never had to have my life in a magnifying glass.
Gotcha.
Like nobody was like officially following me anywhere. But
Mhm.
I had my family, and then it's easier to kind of bring them along with what I'm doing already. But besides that, I'm not in any position to like lead a flock, or I'm not in like a big ministry. I got my little text things, but other than that, there's no real calling on. Not I won't say a calling, but there's no real
There's no real
responsibility at this moment
implemented. Yeah.
to lead right
Yeah.
now. That's
Right.
why I'm kind of in this space of do I seek leadership or do I seek fellowship?
I would seek fellowship. I would seek the love of the Lord that somehow, and I'm gonna say this very gently. It sounds like when you were following your parents, there somewhere along the line there was love that needed to be connected through leadership that wasn't transpired. So now you don't. So if you were to try to be a leader, it wouldn't come from a place of love.
Mm.
Yeah.
It would come from a place of just authority. Just
Yeah.
I hate to say that, because you would actually become
No,
what you would know.
Right.
Yeah, and it would just be the same thing over and
Yeah.
over.
Because I think that the one thing
Yeah.
that I would say to a lot of people that people wouldn't, I mean, people wouldn't really gravitate toward. I would say, forget what you know and do what I say.
Yeah.
And I'm like, when people are confused, you don't know, do what I tell you to do. You don't
Mhm.
need to understand,
Mhm.
Right.
And it came off in a jokingly way, but I was dead serious. Like, if you don't know, stop thinking about it. Do this. So there was no, compassion, empathy.
Yeah.
For me, that was a waste of time. Here's how you feel.
Right.
And I still have that to this day. Is why I'm not
Mhm.
in any rush to lead or
But
be
you
in.
are leading. You have to lead your wife
I
and
was
your
gonna say, you got a
children.
family, Joe.
You're in the. I mean, a husband is the greatest role of leadership under God.
Chief,
So
priest, and king.
I don't.
Priest in the
That's why I
home.
got quiet as I'm listening because I'm thinking, does he not know? that
Right. I mean,
you are the greatest leader under God there is. There's God, and then there's man, and then there's woman.
right.
There's God, and then the husband, and then the wife. There's God, and then there's a husband, a wife, and then the children. The husband is the head. He is in charge. He makes all the final decisions. He makes, even though prayerfully he's taken his wife's into account, but it is the greatest role a man could have is to be a husband
Right.
because of the leadership authority that comes with it.
Right. And
So you are already in the thing you're saying that you
right.
may not be ready to do.
Well, see, I don't think I'm not ready to lead. I'm saying my point was I'm not in a rush to lead as far as like a spiritual leadership, being the head of a church
But
or
your house is your spiritual leadership. If the Bible says if a man can run the house, he shouldn't be running a church.
right.
That husband should be running that house as spiritually astute and strategic. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right. I believe
So
I'm
I
doing
think
that.
you're doing it and
Yeah.
you just don't see yourself applying it on the other side, is
Right.
why I'm mentioning that.
Right. Yeah. And then this is just my kind of opinion on how I'm viewing my own situation.
Right. Because,
Like
we can be harder on
I
ourselves
don't
too.
and I don't think I wouldn't be a good leader. Like that's not where my kind of question or even concern is even coming from. My
Yeah.
concerns is coming from how I view other leaders. So like if you all said, Joe, lead us in season 2 of Uncovered, I'm like,
Right.
absolutely, let's go. This is what I think you should do.
Right.
Now,
Right.
back to what Apostle Ernest was saying, as far as the love, the compassion that was missing, I do believe that that was missing, and I don't apply that to a lot of the now. As far as my home, that might need to be something, but I am a kinder guy, so I don't think that it's going unnoticed. Maybe, well, the woman may know. I don't know. You might need to come in on there.
It's not heart man is what comes.
Absolutely. But I'm not running from it,
It's in such an honored
Right.
position. I mean, it's just, it is the greatest leadership role a man could ask for is to be a husband. One that especially one that's submitted to God, because everything you just said has to come out of him. I mean, it has to. And I would really say sit down and with God and search yourself and ask God, where am I with this leadership, God? Show me me. Show me me. Am I hitting the cylinders? Like, am I hitting what I'm supposed to be hitting here as a husband? I'm not saying you're not.
No, that's fine.
Um, but I am saying I would highly recommend that you have that conversation with God, because it wouldn't be hard for you to transition those things into leadership corporately, is what you're talking about.
Mm.
You don't see yourself doing that corporately, because I completely agree with everything Apostle Ernest said. That was so much wisdom for you. Right now, learn to follow and submit. So what concerned me was hearing the lack of submission, because that's what I heard.
Right.
Was I'm not ready to submit to nobody else. But if you can't submit to nobody else, how are you submitting to your wife? That's all part of being a husband.
Right. Well, I don't think
So
I'm
I
not.
don't know if you don't see that you submit. That's why I'm saying these
Yeah, see,
things. I
because
want you to think about
I
those
don't think I'm
things.
against submission. I haven't seen someone that I would submit to. Is more so.
Well, do you submit to your wife?
I don't know what that means. Like,
Well, okay, so that's another conversation, because we're supposed to submit to one another,
hmm
even though you're the head. I mean, that's a whole nother conversation and that we need to have that would help you with that,
right.
because you get to make the final say, but the Bible says submit ye one to another.
hmm
That's important so that you two can walk together side by side. But when the decision time comes, it's her job to say, baby, what do you want to do?
hmm
Whatever you say, that's what I'm going to do. But the two of you walk together. That's your submission. I mean, like, it's so many pieces there from what you were talking about. And I don't know, you've been married 5 years?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so. I was thinking about it. I said, I think it's been 5 years since I went to that wedding.
Mm-hmm.
I thought so. So, I'm sure things have surfaced. Things surface every 7 years. You got more stuff. If you make it 7 years, you be like, "Phew." Okay, and then another 7 years. Something about that 7 year mark, man. Stuff happens. So I'm sure stuff has come up. And it will continue to come up. And I would learn to follow. I would learn to submit to my wife. That's following. Okay, but still sitting in your chair and making the final decisions. All right, but that is so needed because what Apostle Ernest said just hit my heart. There's a connection, like he said, and he said it as gently as he could, but there's something that didn't cross over from do as I say to want to submit to the leadership.
Right. Now,
Submitting and just doing it because I have to. That's one
so
thing.
do you think that is more on me as a follower or
No, I don't think it's your fault. I'm sorry, I jumped on. Yeah, I'm glad you said it. I was just about to say that it doesn't mean it's your fault. It doesn't mean it's
Right.
something you did. Because if a person doesn't have it to give it to you,
Yes.
then you're just not gonna
You're
get it.
just
If
not
I'm
going to get it.
asking you for $5 and you can't give me $5,
Exactly. No.
it's not my fault. I don't have the $5. This leader was supposed to give me the $5. I don't have it, Lord.
Right.
So yeah, it's not necessarily your fault. Now it is your responsibility at this point that you recognize that you don't have it. That
Right.
Christ does have it, and you have to figure out, how do I get it now? That part.
Yeah, that part.
right?
Cause my granddad, hardcore military man, Vietnam vet. Whew. My dad had a little bit of that in him, but not as my dad was. He was military. He wasn't a vet. He didn't serve in any war, but he still raised military. I was on the military base. He had these hard corners, but there was so much love that I could tell he didn't receive from his. It was like an embrace that he didn't get from his father at all, but that I got from him, and I thank God I did because I'm like, wow, you dad, wow, I can kind of see it was tough. It was tough coming up. And he said it. He's like, my dad never showed up at my games and stuff. Like, I'd be at all your games, boy. My dad. I was like, oh dang. And
Hmm.
it's just how it was back then. It just, so yeah, my dad, he that love thing. It was beautiful. Even to see my brother last night on the men's call. Just, you could just tell we come from that same household. And, even my sister. Like you just see, we got that love. We ain't get nothing else. We got that from my dad. So yeah,
Those are good questions.
yeah, these are good questions.
Yeah, that's why I said I was going to take door number 3.
Right. Yeah. Maybe I should have said ask something else.
Um, and then the last thing, also, now you give birth to what's inside of you. So you having a daughter, you want her to have whatever it
Mhm.
is that you didn't have, you want her to have that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah,
My
yeah, it's
mom.
powerful. Well, I guess that's it for leadership. Did you have anything you wanted to add, Dr. Donna?
No, I
Any?
think we can close on that.
Okay, I
No,
think
it was good. Thank you, Joey. That was really
yeah, really good
good.
questions.
Really
Thank you.
good.
Really transparent. Um,
So you be on camera next time.
Yes.
Okay.
this was beautiful. Yeah, so
Yeah.
we thank you guys. Episode 10. We're closing the book on episode 10, season 1, coming from Oak Lane Studios. Myself, Reverend Bernard, Dr. Donna, producer Joey, signing off.
Yes. Remember, 1 Corinthians 16:9.
A great,
Come on, come on, Apostle.
a
You want
great, a great effectual door.
a great
A great door for effectual work has been open unto us, and there are many adversaries.
That's right. You guys, but we're going. All right.
Amen.